Hey, this is Tom Beal, and this is impromptu. I have some client calls that start in a half an hour. I did my morning routine, which many of you know if you follow me. I wake up in the morning, put my headphones in, get dressed, and walk to the beach, listening to audios, set some intentions for the day, and walk back. And on the walk, it's about 1 hour round trip. I listen to 3 hours of audios. However, this morning, a thing was really racking my brain was some news that a friend of mine let me know about last night. One of my faraway heroes from the BMX freestyle days chose to take his life last night. And the individual's name is Dave Mirra. And I am friends with many of the people. Matt Hoffman was at one of the events that my team put on in Rochester, New York in 1989. Matt Hoffman's known as the Condor, one of the best BMX freestyle ramp riders of history, but he pulled at our event the first 900. So I'm friends with many of the people and have had acquaintances throughout the years of some of the best in bicycle freestyling, which then became X Games. So it hit me hard, even though I am not friends with Dave and had met him briefly one time. I watched him from afar in amazement of what he was able to accomplish. In essence, it's like being a gymnast on a bike while being 10 feet in the air. So to hear the news of Dave, now not only was he a tremendous X Game freestyler, but he also helped that sport bring large corporate sponsors. You know, back when I was in, it was prior to X Games, and we had sponsors and stuff, but it didn't have the big dollar sponsors. So Dave Mirra was the first to get a corporate sponsor over $1 million. So to hear the news of Dave taking his life at 41 years old and traveling around the world, as you know, if you've been following me, I went to 11 countries last year and spoke to thousands of entrepreneurs throughout the world and spoke with many of them. And guess what? In those conversations, it's not all rosy and rainbows and unicorns. There's difficulties, there's challenges, there's problems, there's severe health issues, mentally, physically, emotionally. There's severe financial difficulties, and there's severe relational difficulties. So I had many conversations with people who are in a rough spot, and I myself have been in so many rough spots over my life that I felt called to bring this video to you today. So after my walk, I sat down and wrote, when I've been in severely rough spots, what's my process? What do I do when I've hit rock bottom? I think no one cares. I think I'm on my own. I'm thinking, what now? What? Like, everything is ruined. My life is destroyed. And unfortunately, I've been in that situation more times than I'd want to admit over the years. So I wrote down, like, what's my process? And here's my hope. My hope is that I at least get this from my little notes that I jotted here onto this video, that may cross paths with someone who's at that point, who's like, you know what, ready to consider, like, what do I do now? Throw the towel in? And if that can occur, that's my desired outcome. And even if you're not at that point where you're choosing to take your life, but hey, life has some hard curveballs that were thrown, and my hope is this can help anyone who's in that difficult situation. And if it helps you, PM me, let me know. That'd be great. And or if you know someone who could use these tips, feel free to forward and share it to them. So here's the process that I do when life throws a curveball that either it's health, either it's financial, either it's a relational curveball that I wasn't expecting that puts me on my knees. And here's what I do. Step one, breathe. I take a deep breath and recognize that this too shall pass. When I hear the news, obviously there's some emotions that come about, and there's things that occur, and you're like, dang, wow, how did this happen? Like, what's going on? And after those emotions go, and I choose to stop those emotions from taking me to think, say, and do things that I might regret later, say, okay, well, I didn't expect that. Here's where I am. First thing I'm gonna do is breathe, take a deep breath. So, take a deep breath, like, all right, I've gotten through some difficulties in the past. I can get through this too. I can get through this. I don't know how, but I'm somehow gonna get through this. And then I think of two quotes. One quote is, "This too shall pass," which, over time, I'm sure in my history, I can see numerous times when I just didn't see any light at the end of the tunnel. But over time, with thinking, speaking, and acting, eventually it did pass. And let's be honest, none of us get out of here alive. this thing we call life. So this journey is temporary in and of itself. But while we're here, let's make the most of it. So take a deep breath and know this too shall pass. And the process is getting grounded, basically. So I take a deep breath, and now I say, okay, I want to remove myself from this situation and go get grounded, go get clear. So I'll take a deep breath and just go for a walk. And go for a walk with only one purpose. The one purpose and the only thing I'm going to be thinking about and speaking to myself aloud, by the way, even as crazy as that may sound, is about things that I could be grateful for and I am grateful for. So, even the small minuscule things, I'm grateful that I can see. Even, have these glasses. I can still see without them. I can see even a little more clearly with them. I'm thankful for that. I'm thankful for the ability to breathe, my lungs and my body. I'm thankful for my organs working. I'm thankful for my heart beating. I'm thankful for the air, thankful for the trees, thankful for the grass, thankful for the oxygen, thankful for being able to walk, and thankful for my friends, thankful for my family, thankful for, all the things that you can think about on this walk, about what you are grateful for and what you could be grateful for. And the whole purpose of that is to get into a gratitude mindset, because hey, your life is, just pulled out from under you, in essence. This information is not comforting by a long shot. So focus on gratitude. Then I'd like to go to step 3, and this is basically about locus of control. And I'll have you consider that from my standpoint and my journey over these years, I found that there's only 3 things that I can control in this entire world. And in my opinion, any human has the ability to control or choose to not control. And those 3 things are your thoughts, your words, and your actions. So by controlling your thoughts, words, and actions, that's what got you to this point. Circumstances, people, all that fun stuff. Your thoughts, words, and actions, you are where you are. Those are the only things you can control, which also, by controlling your thoughts, words, and actions, allow you to control your emotions and your behaviors. So your emotions and behaviors are controlled by your thoughts, words, and actions. So just consider that and understand that. And move to step 4, which is take full responsibility for being here and now. Based upon our thoughts, words, and actions, we are right here, right now, by our previous thoughts, words, and actions. And I'm going to take full responsibility for this situation. Even when I may want to blame a person, even when I may want to blame a circumstance, even when I may want to blame an event, by my choices of things I can control, my thoughts, my words, and my actions, I'm still in this moment and I can take full control. And that gives you power. Because when you pass responsibility, it removes your power. Well, because of this. And now you're focused on just how blaming that person, blaming that circumstance, etc. Take full responsibility and recognize I'm here, and by choosing to control my thoughts, words, and actions, I can take myself to somewhere else. All right, so take full responsibility. Pass 0 blame on anyone or any circumstance. 5, step number 5, forgive yourself. This was a difficult one for me for years because, hey, I've thought, said, and done a lot of things. Had a call come in, I had to decline that. Forgive yourself. And in my past, I've done some ridiculously stupid things where if I was around myself at that time, I would kick my own ass. That's how stupid I've done. I've done a lot of stupid things. I've thought, said, and done some things that were just ridiculous. And I'm disappointed in myself from that. However, it's key to go back and forgive yourself, forgive your past, all the mistakes, forgive the people, forgive the events of your past, to include the things that just surprised you and put you in this situation. Forgive everyone, forgive yourself most importantly, okay? And bless the events, bless the people, bless the mistakes that led you to this point, because this is a point that is a trajectory modifying point. And in some future steps, I'll share that in a second. So bless them and recognize that brought you to this point, which is a life modifying point. 6, understand that if nothing changes, nothing changes. Let's see what I put there. In order for your temporary circumstances to change, you must choose to change. So recognize that if nothing changes, nothing changes. All right, 7. And this is only 10 steps, by the way, so we're almost done. Then I got to get on with some client calls. 7, banish fear from your mind. Banish fear. What's the worst possible scenario? You know, and just, you know what? Accept the worst possible scenario. And if you're at a point where like it can't get any worse, okay, great. You're at the bottom. There's only one way to go up. There's only one way. You can go up now. So banish your fear from your mind. Banish ego. Don't give a crap about what anybody might think, what anybody might say, because chances are they're not thinking about you, and and who cares? It's your life. You have to take full responsibility. Banish the fear. Banish the ego. And who knows? Like, I don't know any of the details about, Robin Williams, who passed away by his own choice, by Dave Mirra. I don't know what they were going through financially, personally, all that. And by the way, I'm no psychologist. I'm just someone who is sharing what works for me. So banish fear from your mind and know that this will all work out amazingly well to a point where you'd imagine yourself looking back in the future to where you'd be grateful for those difficulties and challenges that brought you to that point, right? So, and actually possibly even laughing about, man, I was in a rough spot. Like, holy cow, like I just see my brother Dan, hey, congrats on the wedding and the upcoming child, my friend. I look forward to chatting with you soon. We grew up through some difficulties, and I can look back with a smile, like, holy crap, that was so ridiculous. But it pulled us through, and if you look at all of us who lived through those difficulties, we have what most people from the outside would say a successful, happy, joyous life. So ironically, I'm thankful for all those difficulties and challenges, which had me crying and in tears and wondering what the heck kind of situation was I in as a child, because it molded me, and my belief is it molded all of the siblings that had to go through that to be like nothing really shakes us, because we've been through so much crap. You know, life we recognize you can pull through because we've been through it. So banish the fear from your mind and picture a point where even if you're at this roughest point in your life, you can picture yourself in the very near future looking back and being thankful. Like, I'm so thankful that event happened because it put me on my knees, which is exactly the point which I made the choice to take my life to a whole another direction. So banish the fear and ego. A lot of people, like, I don't know, like I said, what Robin Williams or what Dave Mirra had going on, but a lot of times financially, like what are people going to think? What are people going to say? Guess what? If you look at most of the success stories financially throughout the world, they had bankruptcies. They had financial challenges where they almost, lost it all. I mean, here's the person in the news right now, Donald Trump, has a famous quote when he was walking with, I think, Marla Maples down New York City street, and said, that bum over there is worth $900 million more than I am. He was in $900 million worth of debt at the time. That's pretty. It's a rough spot to be, right? So recognize there'll be a point in the future when you can look back and say, thank God for that event, because that's what put me on my knees and that's what made me choose a new path for my life. And number 8, seek help and support from those who love and believe in you. You know, many times when difficulties or challenges hit myself and hit friends or hit people, we feel alone and isolated. And a lot of people shut out their friends, and don't answer the phone and don't answer the door and just curl up in a ball, all that type of stuff. And that's the absolute wrong thing to do, right? The right thing to do is say, you know what, I'm in a bad spot. I need to identify who are some people that love me and support me, and how can I reach out to them. And here we are in this social media world where, we're only a degree or two away from pretty much anybody. But think about who is someone that loves you and believes in you. And it can be a family member. It can be a friend. It can be a stranger. But find someone who loves and believes in you and recognize you can't do this alone. And more importantly, you don't have to do this alone. And, like I said, I don't know inside Dave Mirra's head. I don't know inside anyone who's chosen to take their life. But I can imagine that they had a feeling of like no one would understand, no one would care, no one loves me. When the guy was respected, or Robin Williams, respected by so many, and that, how many people would have loved to have been that lifeline to where, hey, I'm in a rough spot, I need someone to listen. So seek some help and support from those who love and support you, and that can be sometimes family. And hey, guess what? Sometimes you may be in a position where none of my family loves and supports me. Okay, who are some friends? Well, I don't have any friends. Who are some friends of the past? I don't have any anymore. Okay, great. Who are some strangers And to the point of, there's the suicide hotline. Go to anyone to have an ear that can listen to your situation and let you know you're not alone. 9, get around people who are where you want to be in life. So surround yourself with people who are where you want to be in life. And I'm talking health-wise, relationship-wise, and financially. And now, ideally, that's face-to-face. Ideally, that's surround yourself with people you can break bread with and you can spend time with. But guess what? We live in the day and age where it doesn't necessarily have to always be the case. You can do it digitally. Here we are connecting digitally. There's YouTube videos with Tony Robbins, who's incredible. He's got information that can transform your life. Jim Rohn, Brian Tracy, you name it. And huge amounts of health gurus, huge amounts of financial gurus, huge amounts of relationship gurus, mindset gurus. Find the ones that resonate for you and tap yourself into it. Listen to the videos. Go to podcasts. The phones nowadays have podcast apps. Find people who have information that's positive and uplifting you and inspiring you to improve your health, your relationships, and your finances. There's a saying that says you become the average of the 5 people you surround yourself with most. So I used to hate that quote because all my friends were fat, unhappy, miserable, and poor. I'm like, shit, this sucks. I need new friends. And so I now love that quote because my friends are happy, are healthy, and are financially stable and doing amazing things and making a positive difference in the world. So through physical and digital interaction, surround yourself with people who are where you want to be. And number 10, become passionately obsessed with becoming the absolute best you're capable of becoming by taking control of the only things you can control, your thoughts, your words, and your actions, to focus only and solely on what you want and 0 on what you don't want. Focus on solutions only, and pretty much say, sure, here's where I am. These are my current circumstances now, but here's where I want to be, and here's how I have a plan of how to get there. And there's an Earl Nightingale video I would recommend seeing. It's called The Strangest Secret, and he talks about how man and woman, we become what we think about most of the time. Become passionately obsessed of thinking about where you want to be and how you can bring the best out of you. And at the same time, don't compare yourself to others. Only person you need to compare yourself with is the person staring back from the mirror. Compare yourself to, how can I better my best? Yeah, other people are way ahead of me, and that inspires me. That doesn't tick me off. That's those. I don't shake my fist. Son of a gun. They're there. No, that inspires me. If they can do it, I can do it. How can I better my best? All right. So those are 10 steps, and then I have YouTube videos that go into my 5-step success magnet process, talk about my Trinity success method, and a whole bunch of other things. So you can go to YouTube, search for my name, Tom Beal. You find a huge amount of videos. You can go to my podcast at maketodaygreat.com. Huge amount of information there. As I mentioned at the beginning, it was spontaneous. No desired outcome other than wanting to get my notes after my walk out to the public in hopes that it could cross paths with someone who's going through difficult times. And I guess the last thing I can share is, I have a huge library in there with many people that are highly admired. And, Robin Williams was highly admired. Dave Mirra was highly admired. Many people who have chosen to take their lives were highly admired. I have a bookshelf of New York Times bestselling authors. I have a friends list. I have phone numbers in here that are New York Times bestselling authors and well-respected mentors and leaders throughout the world. And guess what? They're all flawed. All flawed. I'm flawed. They're flawed. You're flawed. So what? They're flawed. They have worries. They have fears. They have times when they're curled up in a ball. They have, as Donald Trump, we're $900 million in debt. They have times when they maybe went bankrupt. They have times when they've been divorced. They have times when let me just say this, they fail more times than they succeed. And that's just life. That's just life. But recognize, if they can do it, as flawed as they are, and trust me, many of them are way beyond flawed that you are, way beyond, and that's good. That should inspire you. Like, as flawed as they are, they still are able to do what they do. And as flawed as I am, I'm still able to do what I do. And as flawed as you are, you still can control the things you can control, your thoughts, your words, and your actions. So hopefully these 10 steps cross paths with someone who's going through a difficult time and will not choose to take that path that Dave Mirra took, and that's the inspiration to do this. Now, I have another book in there that's inspired millions of people to create tremendous results. It's called The 4-Hour Work Week by Tim Ferriss. Tim came out with a blog post last year that shared he was suicidal in college and had made a plan to kill himself. And here's someone who was going to, I believe, Stanford, and he was going to kill himself about grades at school, and no one knew. And by a chance, his mother received a book that was Tim reserved this book on how to commit suicide. They didn't have it, and they shipped it to his house. His mom got this book, like, Tim, I got this book. What's up? Oh, I'm doing a research paper. And that saved him from taking the steps that he was planning to take his life. Now, I would recommend, I'll put that URL below. I would recommend going to check that out because it has hundreds and hundreds of comments sharing the difficulties and challenge of so many people are dealing with, and a lot of tremendous resources at that blog post. So I'll put that URL below. And my hope is we stop overcomplicating this life. Make the most of this journey. It's brief. Yes, it has challenges. Yes, it has difficulties. Yes, it has surprises. Yes, it will put us on our knees. Yes, it will make us cry. But let's make it as joyous and as fulfilling as possible. And in my opinion, that begins by taking control of the only things we can control, our thoughts, our words, and our actions, which allow us to control our emotions and allow us to control our behaviors. So my hope is this finds you well. And hey, stop overcomplicating life. Stop overcomplicating success. Let's have some fun. Let's seek to be the best we're capable of being, and let's judge less, love more. You are loved. I look forward to our paths crossing soon. Let me see here. Michael Neal. Permanent solutions to temporary problems. Almost every problem we face is temporary. Absolutely, absolutely. This too shall pass. You've made it through a lot of big challenges, and you can make it through. You can control your thoughts, your words, and the actions, which is all any human can control. You can take your life from where you are to where you want to be. I hope this is helpful. Steve, great words here, but I have a question. If you had a tool that could help all those people, what would you do? Well, I thought of this back in 2001, one of my first websites. And my first website idea surrounded the question that you posed, Steve, and it was to have a place where people could go 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and have someone. And I believe now that's exactly where we are. This is the idea I had in 2001, us living it right here now. This is where you watching this, you around the globe, there's 1.5 billion people connected here. So if you don't have a friend or a family member that you feel loves and believes in you, there's someone here that does. So this is that tool. And I would recommend using this tool as your extended family. And there are people here, including myself, who believes in you and who loves you and selfishly. I have kids. I need you to be the best you can be, because when we all become the best we can be, that leaves this world a better place for my children and your children. If you don't step up and let the world recognize the gifts you have and the talents you have, if you keep those a secret, you're hurting my kids. I'm not going to let that happen. I need the best from you. I need you to step up, and I need me to step up. So we all need to step up together. Remit, I'm very interested in the topic suicide. I would like to learn more about it. I'm going to post a link below that has Tim Ferriss's link that he posted last year. It's very helpful. Rewind and listen to my 10 steps. I'm not a psychologist. I'm just a dude that's been through a lot of crap, mostly self-imposed crap, and have made it through. Sometimes don't know how, but have. So I listed out those 10 steps here. Go rewind this when I end it, check it out, listen to those, and then also post that Tim Ferriss link below. And remember, this was all inspired from one of my heroes of the past. Just got news he chose to take his life at 41 after attaining, amazing success. So I hope this finds you well. And ironically, or perfectly orchestrated, I have to jump off the call and get on my client call here. But I hope this finds you well. Share it with anybody you know that can benefit from it. This is Tom Beal. You can learn more about me. Just Google my name, go to YouTube, Tom Beal, or go to maketodaygreat.com. And that's exactly what I hope you do today. Go make today great. Talk with you soon.